Welcome to the Some Laugh podcast.
It could be like, oh, that was some laugh, or there was just some laughs.
Some laughs.
Well, no promising all laugh.
No, there's going to be some.
It's some laugh.
We should have maybe went different, so we don't get confused. Sides.
You still look that similar?
Not anymore.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Grew my
He's
hair out.
fucking good looking. No. I'm still the same old cunt. The wank.
Come on, Steve. I'm not sitting here listening to that. You've got so much left to live for, son.
Don't do a
I don't want to be
Scorpio.
around anymore.
Don't be a typical Scorpio to yourself all of a sudden. Start self-hating.
Aggressive.
Yeah. So that we were just talking about that before the podcast. So as I say, we were joined by good friend Chris Macarthur-Boyd.
Yo.
Welcome to the show, Christopher.
I'm so excited to be the first guest on Some Laugh.
I think every week we should get one more, just boy, and then eventually
Yes.
it's just like 40 blokes in this fucking room
40 boys going,
shouting over each other.
you seen the news?
So you're a huge fan of the podcast, obviously. You listen a lot, don't you?
You know, I think you're trying to get me, right? But I actually listened to the first 3 episodes when I was in London last week.
Good.
Yeah, because somebody said I was mentioned, so I had to listen to it to see what you were.
You've probably
What did
been
they
more
say?
mentioned than
Yeah.
anyone else, actually.
That's nice.
What did we say about you?
You were
So
just
we-
talking about that time I went up on stage in Renfrew and told the crowd to shut the fuck up
Yeah.
before.
That was your opener, I
Yeah,
believe.
that was my opener.
Do you remember
You
that?
should open
Yeah.
this podcast with that. Welcome to the show, Chris. Shut the fuck
Shut
up.
the fuck up.
Can you just shut the fuck up?
It's your time to talk now.
It's my
Remember
time
that
to talk.
gig?
Yeah, it was class.
You got me that gig.
Yeah. I said, Steve, I've got an opportunity for you. We gigged together in Dundee. I see a bright future for you.
Doing Pokemon jokes.
Couple of Pokemon jokes.
You smoking a big fat cigar.
Hey, kid.
Eating
Yeah.
a Rustler's burger in the
Like
back
Tom
of that
Hanks
car.
in the new Elvis film. He's an fucking manager guy.
I just saw a talent in Stevie. The first time I met him, I was like, this guy's got it, you know.
We had a rapport.
We had a rapport.
Do you think you'd have won the BBC New Comedy Award if you hadn't done that gig for
Don't think
Sandy?
so.
Probably
Don't
not, right?
think so.
No chance in hell.
Because it puts hairs on your chest. Stu.
Really does.
These kinds of gigs. It's great.
Did you not have...
Have you got a hairy chest now?
Hmm?
Have you got a hairy chest now?
Let's see it. Oh, wow. That's nice.
You can see all the shitey gigs in there.
Oh.
The Ivory. Yes, bar.
It's a good thing the mic was in the way there, or would I get banned off of YouTube there?
Oh, getting too horny
Spicy,
for this podcast.
But no, so we were just discussing off air star signs, and it turns out Steve star
Well, we were
signs. a bit
talking
of a-
about how lassies like them.
yes.
So we were talking about how...
What's the worst star
Aye.
sign?
We weren't just generally talking about star signs.
I would describe it more in terms of you slagging him for being a Scorpio.
You just started
Because you
that-
seem to know about them.
You just started berating me.
I'd never
Yeah.
heard that Scorpios are fucking embarrassing.
Chris, our resident
Great.
horoscope expert here,
Yeah.
Chris Macarthur-Boyd.
Yeah, man.
That's why we got you on.
Thanks.
There's nothing wrong with Scorpios.
Some fucked up stuff, man.
So
Why-
what is it? Why is it that people don't like Scorpios?
Well, you ask this clown.
So, they're just like the worst one. So lassies, a lot of lassies, like if you meet a lassie with like baggy genie pants,
Sorry?
or like baggy genie pants, or like a
You mean
Dream
baggy
ca-
genie trousers?
aye,
Right.
a dream catcher
A
in her bedroom,
mandala tattoo.
a mandala, some fucking Buddhist symbol
What's
on her
wrong
neck or
with all
something.
this stuff? I'm
How have you
wearing
made this
baggy
podcast
genie
more
pants right now.
misogynist by turning up and fucking...
No, I'm not
your
saying it.
prejudiced
Does you really
views on
misjudge the
women?
vibe here?
No, I don't.
It just looks like it's going to be that. It's not actually that.
I think women are class. I just think
You just wish they felt the same about you.
no, because they do. So it's just there's a subgenre of person that I despise. You know,
And that's women.
guys and
Scorpios.
girls who guys and girls who believe in that shit. You know what I mean,
So are you talking about Scorpios or people who believe in horoscopes here?
people who believe in horoscopes.
And
I don't know
Scorpios.
any Scorpios who believe in horoscopes, because if you believed in horoscopes, you would know Scorpios are subhuman.
It's not in your best interest.
No, to get interested and learn about it.
Scorpios are really a good animal to
The scorpion.
scorpion, and is
Yeah.
it? That's not really like, oh, that sounds nice.
There's that story about the scorpion and the rabbit who are on the back of the fish and they're trying to get across the river.
Those are not the right animals.
That's not it's not the Bible passage I read.
What animals is it? Is it like a turtle shell that they're on the back of?
What? No, do you mean the wee thing where it's like you've got a boat, you've got a bale of hay, and a chicken,
And a scorpion.
and a bag of seeds, and it's
Hell
like
no.
you have to take one
No,
of
no,
the
no, no, no.
You have to take the bag of seeds over
See,
to
that's
the
for
chicken.
later. That's your philosophical challenge. No, it's it's the thing about the scorpion needs a lift across the river from the turtle or something, and the turtle,
And the bag of seeds.
And no, there's no bag of seeds.
Right.
And the turtle goes, "Oh no, but if you go on my back across the river, you'll sting me." And he goes, "No, I won't. Why would I do that? Otherwise, I won't get across." And then so they get across, and the scorpion stings him. And he's like, "What'd you do that for?" And he went, "I'm a scorpion."
Yeah, and that's what it's like knowing
That's
you.
my vibe.
So this is
Character
horrendous.
assassination. I'm going to defend you, Steve. 'Cause I'm sitting
Thanks.
next to. I'm on your team.
But you're an Aries like me.
Mm.
Two different-
Headstrong. What were you saying? Leadership.
Yeah, just
Courageous.
top lads.
Passionate.
That screams you. See,
That's all me. I'm all that stuff.
You're
You know.
very different people. Though.
Hot-headed.
We were born in the same 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Chris is 1 day older than me.
Really?
My
Yeah.
granddad's birthday.
We're very, very similar.
I would say you are headstrong. In fact, I would go to say that you are the most headstrong person I've ever met without any reason for it.
I'm not though, so that's where the horoscope
Aye.
falls down.
That's it. Well, it's a good comparison. Well, here's the thing about horoscopes, like to me, right? Because, I was talking to Lassie last week, she was saying, oh, well, you can really judge how a guy acts, or you can judge a guy based on how he responds to, like, when you talk to him about horoscopes and stuff. And as if it's like a red flag. If
I
you
just rolled my eyes there, I realised.
Yeah, like, well, it's,
Get a close up of that. for
the idea is
YouTube.
it's like it's a red flag if you point out that it's like it's not real, but you literally just Google it and it's like there's no scientific basis for it and blah blah blah, and there's all this stuff that's debunked it. So you're kind of like a bit like, I don't know, is it just a thing you just need to accept? I suppose it's like the way that women just need to accept that guys like, I don't know, fucking UFC or football or
I hate both.
misogyny.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the argument for it that I kind of get is like, oh, well, the moon controls the ocean. So why would the stars not control your behaviour in some respect?
And also the moon has something to do with women's periods. Again, I meant to discuss this last
100%,
week.
yeah.
but
I'm
if
so
that was-
uncomfortable with all these.
if that was the case, if the moon affected my body, I'd be like, aye, fucking, there's something to all this shit.
I think it does. I think the full moon affects. I'm not a fucking moon worshipper, but I think the moon has some powers.
Well, it moves the sea in, doesn't it?
That's what I'm talking about. And how much of your body is percentage water?
How much of my body is water? 90.
Yeah. So if it affects the ocean, why would it not affect you and the things that go on inside you?
My body's always going in it. That sounded weird.
Like a
but I
fiddler's
love it.
Fucking
eye.
It sounded
Scorpio over here, man.
That's a
Nah.
classic Scorpio thing to say, talking about your body going in and out of stuff.
No, I didn't say stuff. I just said
I found an article on Cosmopolitan called "Why Are Scorpios So Evil?"
Let's see that.
do I give across an evil vibe?
I wouldn't say so. But then, because the thing about Leos is they always go, oh, Leo, you're great and you're the centre of
Courageous.
attention and everyone
Is that
loves
what
you.
you are?
That's what I am, right? But I always
Is
just
that what
think,
they always say?
I always assume like, oh, everybody says something like that because it's all just personality traits that everybody has, and you just pick individual ones for the individual signs, and then I assume that they just butter everybody up. But it turns out that if you read the Scorpio, it's like, fucking kill yourself, Scorpio.
It's like they've thrown Scorpio under the bus to have a bit more validity with the other
Aye,
ones.
not everyone's brilliant and is going to win the
Everyone's
lottery
fucking
today.
class apart from this lot.
Well, what website you go on? Because all the times that I've looked it up, it's been good. It's been like, you go in the paper and it would have a wee passage. I don't think they can afford to be saying that in like the Daily Record.
Alienating a 12
Yeah,
I used to
like,
always read the guy in the Daily
Scorpios are
Record.
Evil bastards.
It was just Joan, and then it was the horoscopes. And
I used to
Yeah.
like reading them actually.
Aye.
Yeah.
Like 14 years old reading it, but like, oh, the
Yeah.
girl that I fancy is gonna go for me because it says I'm class in the fucking it says I'm class in this horoscope.
Aye, no, that's it. Oh, look out for a chance interaction today.
Yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
And you're like, ooh,
You're
It's
like,
a bit
I'm
of fun,
literally
innit?
going to school. There are no chance
No,
encounters.
absolutely. It's a bit of fun, but
What is Scorpio a bad zodiac sign? They are not bad people. This says I don't believe that.
See,
What's the one before that? I
you're
found?
picking and
He's bringing a
choosing.
lot of baggage.
Okay, 17 negative traits of a Scorpio. 17
That's
So you
loads.
don't need to go through them all.
trust issues, and you have that with everybody.
What?
You don't trust me not to bring it up on a podcast.
I
What do
wouldn't
you mean?
say,
Listen
I
to
wouldn't
this,
say
by the way,
that.
we get a guest on. Might not even know who Chris is. Just rocks up, starts slagging one of the co-hosts with really over the top 17 bullet points.
Straight away.
Trust
17
issues.
reasons why
Do
I
you
fucking
think,
hate you.
listeners at home, that this describes Stephen Buchanan? Trust issues. I would say no to that one. I think you're.
I'm a very
I'd say
trusting
you're
person.
trusting.
Secretive. You keep little things in your pockets and you don't
I
show
wouldn't know.
anybody
I
them.
wouldn't know if you.
I'll show you everything in my
I would
pocket.
say
Got a
secretive.
little
Actually.
Yeah.
You can gummy pizza in your pocket.
This is what I've got. This is what I keep at all times in my pocket. Gummy Zone pizza.
How much did they cost?
25 pence.
That's funny because one of the things about Scorpios is they are spendthrifts.
Tight arses.
Yeah. Whereas I bought a pack of gummy snakes that were 125.
Aye, I didn't even
Aries.
buy this. You bought me this.
Exactly.
I would say Steve is secretive because often you won't even mention stuff to me.
I
that
don't
you're
know a
up to.
thing about the guy.
I know.
What, like?
I don't know. Just what you're up to.
Then you don't tell anybody.
I see you're out doing stuff, and I'm like, Steve not mentioned about this.
I've got a life outside the podcast, Mark. Can't be telling you everything that I'm doing. Come on.
They get jealous easily, seem aggressive, they seek revenge.
Also, can I say about the secretive thing?
Yes.
Now that we've got this podcast, I can't afford to be spunking all my stories without a mic recording. That's why I need to keep them until we come here, and then I tell you about being scared of beans and all that.
Scorpios can be extremely sensitive, and you've proven that in the last
Shut
10.
the fuck up.
Yeah, in the last 10
Does it say anything about beans, Chris?
about beans.
Yeah. Might be a Scorpio thing.
I'm scrolling through the
Can't
17.
stomach beans now.
You
Manipulative,
should say, by the way,
rude.
this is a story Steve told on an episode that we never wrote. So we've
That
done
we
an
keep
episode.
fucking calling back to.
Yeah,
so I
an
keep forgetting.
episode 0, and basically Steve was talking about how he's scared of beans. Might as well just tell it now.
What
I
you
hate
scared of
beans.
beans for?
I was sick, and there was hundreds of beans in the sick,
Yeah.
and I've never ate them since.
But that's why you don't like tomato sauce as well.
Aye, because there's tomato sauce and beans.
That's why I don't eat sick.
I don't eat sick either anymore.
My favourite detail of the story though is because it was a fucking baked bean pizza you'd been eating.
Well, yeah, it was a
Hey, we're
pizza. That...
class, man.
Do you remember those
Yeah,
things?
yeah.
Frozen pizza. I don't think it was cooked properly.
Had
Sorry,
beans in
Eleanor. And instead of a base sauce, you've got your beans and then cheese, and it was deep pan as well, so it's thick to the
Yeah.
brim with
And it was
beans.
Heinz branded as well. It wasn't like fucking
Yeah.
non-branded
They're
beans.
not being tight with the beans.
Nah.
No, it wasn't Branston beans.
See, speaking of sick, by the way, do you remember one time when we were at the Fringe and Chris?
Sick black.
No, it wasn't even sick. No, you know what it was? I was thinking you were sick and you get chucked out, but actually wasn't it? What happened? We were at the Fringe and you had to stay at mine because you'd pissed in the sink and get caught on the bouncer.
I was bursting for a piss. I went into the toilet. It's a very small toilet. It's only 2 cubicles.
There's
no
urinal.
urinals.
No urinal. Yeah.
That's true.
And
They stink, those
2
toilets.
nights in before I'd been there, and a guy was in the queue and he'd went, "You might as well just be in a sink, huh?" And I went, "Aye."
And that percolated in your brain for a couple of days, then you went ahead with it.
Fermented in my brain. I was like, when I was in this queue and I seen the sink, I was like, well,
It's quite a high up sink as well. Did you jump on? Did you
I'm a wee guy.
stand on top of the
Just angle for us.
thing? Did you angle it up or did you stand on it and pee down?
tiptoes,
Tiptoes.
buzz resting on the edge. And then I just let go. And honestly, I felt class. Then one of the cubicle doors opened and it was a bouncer.
Oh, so he was taking up the cubicle.
He was,
Did he have
which
to
I
wait,
think,
wait for you to finish your piss?
well, he came over and started washing his hands.
I'm picturing him picking you up like a kid. And you're still pissing in the middle.
He just looked down at my cock and he went, "You're out of here, man."
After
yeah,
did he
yeah.
let you finish up? Obviously.
And I
That
said, "Can
can't
I
be the
finish
first
my
time
drink?"
that's happened to you.
I was like, "Can I finish my drink? Can I finish my drink or can I tell my pals?" And he was like, "Nah." And then I was
Seems
like,
pretty chill about
"Can
it.
you not tell the venue owner? Because I know the woman who owns this place." And he went, "All right," but he told everybody.
He seems pretty chill though.
You still
was
gig, you
very
still gig
chill.
for them.
Yeah, still gig for the venue. Nah, I mean, it was class though. You know, I've peed in sinks before, and I'll do it again. Didn't
So
learn a
nice to
lesson
be fair
that
with
night.
you.
Feed and I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I have. We all have.
We've all lived a life.
Actually,
I
that
don't
happened.
think I've done it at the Fringe though.
I actually witnessed someone do it on Saturday night because I was at this gig and the urinals were full up. So this is disgusting chat, by the way. But
It's a grotty little podcast.
The
let's be
urinals were
honest.
full
they were they felt like they were they like
Of-
yeah.
of people, not like.
No of,
Oh.
of urine because it was obviously clogged up or whatever. And so the guy just went like that and just pushed the sink. And I was like, cool, fair enough.
Wow.
Yeah. I used to live in student accommodation, And
This is more like it, innit, by the way, off the horoscopes, talking about
Absolutely.
women's
Pissing and
issues.
shitting.
And it's 3 minutes on that, and we're talking about pissing in the sink.
Guys pissing in sinks.
I used to live in student accommodation, and we had like a shared toilet with these 3 guys, and one of them was like a Russian drug dealer, and the other 2 were like gym, like they were both in the boxing club, and they were just like kind of psychopaths, who were quite violent in their lives. So I was like, I didn't want to use the toilet ever, but I had the sink in my room, so I kind of used the sink as a toilet like for months on end, like more than I used the toilet. I was just constantly pissing in my room sink. So I was kind of like,
Same place where you brush your teeth and all that.
aye, but I ran a tap,
Yeah, he's not brushing.
so I'm not
pish, to be
pissing
fair.
in my.
Did
That's
you
gonna be a
ever
splash,
bleach
aren't
that sink once?
I feel like I
No.
can field this question.
There's
You
no
don't
way.
own bleach.
I don't like bleach.
You don't own it.
I
You
don't
look
see
like
you as a
someone
deep
who
cleaner.
owns-
Who's owning bleach when they're 19 in student halls and they're like, get the toilet duck in,
Going
man?
back with
That's
all
what
your
I'm saying.
fucking noodles and some bleach. Can't you see that
Get a
happening?
bit of
No.
domestos in there.
4 packs of Coca noodles, chicken flavour, and a big blue toilet duck. I don't think so, man. No, I mean, listen, it was gross. I'm not saying it wasn't gross. I'm just reporting the fact. I pissed in the sink. I think it's, but
It's
then
like living in prison or something.
it was like living in prison. It was very prison-esque.
Mm.
I feel like the only other way you would live with a Russian drug dealer is if you lived in prison.
I suppose so.
Or
Or Russia.
Russia. Well, yeah, in Russia. Kind of a prison. I don't want to get too political. But it was like, I know Roscoe, he's a plumber, and he was saying, oh, it's good to piss in the sink because all the pipes go back to the ocean eventually.
This is good. It's
Sounds
preferable.
good.
It's good. It's better than pissing in a...
I think
Toilet.
once the pipes leave the house, Roscoe's knowledge of it is probably pretty limited from
I
there.
think he spent a lot of times down there, man. Just wriggling
Down
about
at
the
the
pipes,
beach.
Living
you know?
in the pipes.
Like Super Mario, just piping
And-
about.
You peed in the shower?
I've peed in the shower very recently.
Very recently.
Mm.
This morning.
In my hotel on Tuesday night.
Wow.
It was like a wet room. And I was like,
Was once you'd be in.
Hey-o.
it was like the room, and then the toilet was over here, and then the wet room shower was over here. So it was like you had to walk through your bedroom with a carpet soaking wet to
Weird.
pee mid through a shower. I was like, I'm just fucking going for this, man. All pipes go to the same place. If I see a drain, I'm peeing in it, man.
Problem is though, like, see if you get used to doing that, peeing in the shower, and then you're in a communal shower, and your body starts to like
Muscle
want-
memory.
You can't be standing next to somebody in the changing rooms after football or something, just fucking pissing away.
I don't have a lot of communal showers in my life, though. I'm not a sporty person or a
I
gym
thought you'd
person.
maybe like when you used to like, live in hostels and stuff. Well, if you
Live in
ever-
hostels? What
Aye,
life do you
did
think
you-
I've lived?
Did you never get a hostel when you
Remember you
were?
were homeless for 3 years? Aye,
Did you
aye,
never get a hostel when you were on the road and starting out? And
Only the first like 2 times, and then the third time you're having a wank next to a brother sister combo for Sweden, and a wee Japanese woman up this fucking top bunk the other bed.
Sounds
I'm not
exactly like
fucking
your
doing this anymore, man.
Sounds exactly like your fetish.
I need to have a place to like wind down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't be sharing with all these freaks.
I'm sure they speak glowingly
Trying to
about you.
these freaks trying to ruin your fucking perfectly good wank.
It's just, I think that's such a middle class thing, that whole hostel thing. It's like, my life's great, so I'm going to go on holiday and it will be shite. And it's like, my life is already shite. I don't go on holiday to have a shite life. I go on
worse one.
holiday to jack off in peace. You always hear about, oh, I live in Fiji and there was no electricity and we just ate spam. And it's like,
Where were you wanking though, you know?
yeah. In a jungle, probably. Man.
I've only ever stayed in one hostel, but it was so I went to Amsterdam years ago, and my mate booked it right, but like it unbeknownly to me booked a Christian hostel. So I went to Amsterdam,
What
and all
a
of a
vibe.
You know, I
sudden
let jack off here, man.
we turn up to the place, and it's like Jesus loves you, and they've left like a wee mint on the pillow saying like Jesus saves and that stuff, and it's like, you know, there was Bible club and all that in the place, and like you know, bringing anyone back here for a start, but then it was just like, I just out of all the places in the world you could be, like pure debauchery and
Yeah.
fucking all sorts going on in Amsterdam. We were staying in the most wholesome place, but to be honest, it was actually quite good because it was clean and there wasn't anything too
Sketchy.
sketchy about. Aye,
You were the sketchiest cunt there.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Although there was a guy who was in our hostel and basically was there himself, and he was saying I think he'd split up with his like fiance or something, and he was like, "Oh, lads, you never go over it and all that, do you?" And he came out with us that night, and we ended up getting him like we met some lassies, and one of them liked him, and he went away with her and stuff. And then the next day he's like, "Oh, who cares anymore?" And like it was so funny to see. He's like we managed to sort of like, help him have this pure class night and go over it, because I assume he was just there to like shag prostitutes or something. Can't imagine why else you would go there yourself. Fucking
Yes,
It's
when
like a
someone goes
culture.
to if someone goes to Amsterdam with their pals, it's like, oh, somebody wants to fucking have a good time. But if you go by yourself, it's like, come on, man.
yeah.
This is the
That
last
guy
night.
did not go to the Anne Frank house. I'm like,
No, he wasn't going for a peaceful wank in that hostel. That's for sure.
And
I think people go there if like that's like their last blowout, really, innit? If you go
before
yourself.
they commit suicide.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've
To
heard
where? The Anne Frank house?
No, they had
Just
Frank
dark.
house, just in general.
Amsterdam
I mean,
and
they're good with
Thailand,
them
it's like,
fuckers.
go there with your pals and that'll be cool. But if you go by yourself, it's like,
This guy,
it's a big red flag for
he's
me.
wanting to do some stuff, some last minute things.
He's wanting to have sex
before he
for money,
exits.
which is cool
Fair enough.
if you want to do that. But you
Yeah,
know.
I'm
You
all for
stop
it.
off in Amsterdam before you go to fucking Switzerland.
Aye, it's a stone's throw away, innit?
Just googling the places with the tallest bridges.
what the fuck is
Aye.
this episode, man?
This has got dark. This has got dark, man. What the fuck? Anyway, you were just in London. How was that?
It was so much stuff, man. I don't know how I'm not obese. I had 3 dinners on Saturday night.
What'd you have? Talk us through it.
Pizza for lunch.
Nice.
First dinner, Chinese. Green beans stir fried with spicy mince and fried rice. Then I went for sushi. I did not have
Different
sushi.
place?
Different place. Third dinner, 1 in the morning. I had chicken noodle soup with sweet corn and Peking duck
You
and
like your
pancakes.
Asian cuisine, don't you? Where
I
you...
was in Chinatown, baby.
well, that explains it. Then.
Seen that wee
Eh,
guy just cutting about Chinatown all day.
Where did you get a pizza in Chinatown, though?
Oh, I had that in my hotel because I
Right.
was just kind of burst. I think I went out on Friday night and I was kind of,
Too much noodles.
oh my god, man, I went nuts.
Did you make a loss on the gigs?
Yeah. I was staying in a hotel that had a wet room, and I was eating out every day. I had 2 separate Five Guyses and 2 separate McDonald'ses on the trip as well. So I was.
How long were you there?
2 days.
Have you always had like a high metabolism or something?
Yeah, man, I can eat anything. I've only been fat like twice.
Aye.
And can I just get over it? I just go for a walk and then I'm back. I know this will crash, you know, I'll hit 32 and I'll just balloon and, you know, I've had a couple of health scares and stuff, but it's great, man. I'm loving it. I smoke like fuck as well.
Do you think that helps with losing weight?
No.
The
We can
smoking thing
dedicate
does,
this
doesn't it?
episode to your memory.
When I die of a heart attack in 2 hours, but
I used
So,
to just think.
People are going to listen back to this the way that you listen back to the Bill Hicks bit about smoking and go, "That's what done it. That's what done it."
that's a
He
go.
took himself solo to Amsterdam 48 hours after that was recorded.
I used to think you just ate like just Rustler's burgers and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a perception I had of you.
Yeah, I had an eating
Pretty
disorder.
beige guy.
Yeah, I would only eat beige food, didn't eat any fruit or vegetables, and now I'm like, fucking...
But then I told that to you and you said that you don't like Rustler's
I don't like...
burgers.
I liked microwavable, non-branded burgers when I was a wee boy playing 007 Nightfire for the
What a
PS2.
fucking game, by the way.
Can
I
we
played with
just
my
talk
sister
about
like 3
this
weeks ago.
instead of eating disorders and jacking off? Incredible games.
Amazing.
So good.
Shout out to my cousin Liam for letting me play Agent Under Fire on his PS2, and shout out to my guy Christopher Doyle from high school for letting me go down to his to play Nightfire. 2 games I didn't actually own, but I loved playing it with them.
My cousin John, he had that. I would always go around. They wouldn't let me play, but I would watch a lot. And it looked great.
See, people who let you watch them play games but don't let you have a shot, they should be shot.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching them. I was one of those. That's a
That is
Scorpio
weird.
trait.
I was gonna
You were
say,
the
yeah.
original Twitch viewer.
Yeah, I was. But in
Slipping
real
them
time.
55 quids.
It's like, can I give you a wee fright and I'll give you 50p or whatever. It was great, man. Because I used to get scared. Cause sometimes he would say, "Do you want a shot?" And I'd go, "Nah," because I'd get scared. I'd get the pressure of
someone
playing in
else
front
watching
of
you play.
someone, and I knew he was good, so he'd be judging.
Ooh.
Oh God, man, that's
Not nice.
that's pressure.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
is.
I mean, I said that because I used to watch my dad play like games, and then I met Lemmy, and I was like, "Oh, I love watching you play Dark Souls, man. That's great." And he's like, "Oh, do you play it?" I was like, Nah, like I don't play it, but I love watching you play it. And then there was a wee pause, and I went. I used to watch my dad play games, and he just looked at me like, "Do you think I'm your dad?" No, bye. And I just walked away from him. Every time I meet him, I just make an arse. Every time I meet anybody, I make an arse of myself.
Who's the
Never
person
meet
that
your
you've made
heroes.
the biggest arse of? And
Dylan Moran was brutal, man.
what happened when you met him?
Well, I was steaming, and I went up
Great
to him,
start.
yeah, and I gave him advice.
You gave Dylan Moran advice.
Yeah.
So while you were pissing in the sink,
I was.
I tell you
being-
something about comedy.
I was being held upside down and dangled in some pish, and then I walked over, slicked my hair back with a pish steamer, and then went up to Dylan Moran and went, "Here, by the way, I seen you do a red raw 3 weeks ago. You should keep that bit about the mouth opening up in the corner of the room when you get in." And it's like, he done this bit about, I don't know if you should do other cunt bits on podcast, but he doesn't do it as part of any show because he dropped the bit, but it was like getting
didn't
older.
take your advice. Though.
No, getting older, like, you know, people, when, you know, people die around you, and it's like your whole life is a room full of all your friends and family, and then the room just tilts on its side, and a mouth opens up in the corner of the room, and people just slip off into the mouth one by one, and I was just like, fucking hell, that's class, man. But I never seen him do it again, so I was steaming. I was like, mate, you should bring it back, and he was like, oh. And then I was doing a radio show with him, and I was like, said to the producer, I was like, I'm really scared, man. Because, like, last time I met him, I gave him advice when I was steaming, and he went, did you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, go on just now and tell that story. And I went on, interrupted him doing, like, a bit that, like, went viral, this amazing Dylan Moran bit about how life's shite, but you just need to get through it.
That's a great bit where you're just sitting next to.
I'm just sitting next to him, yeah, in the clip. But then they go, right, interrupt him to tell him about that time you gave him advice. He didn't remember again. And now, the last time I seen him, I just seen him stretching on the street in Edinburgh, and I went, I'm never going to talk to this cunt.
Even though you're like, mate, you're actually going to put your back out if you do the stretches that way.
There's a bit of advice from me to you.
Every time I meet Lily's pretty awful, because anytime I love somebody, the pressure's just on to
Never meet your heroes.
never meet them.
Well, the thing is the same way when you meet a famous person or somebody you admire, it's the same when, like, you know, you're trying to impress somebody on a date or whatever, because basically you're invested in how the outcome of the interaction goes.
Yeah.
So you try and, you know, make sure that you do everything right, and that fucks you up, because then you suddenly are consciously try to think about the stuff that you normally do without thinking, like have a normal conversation,
Yeah.
and then you just can't do that, and then that's when you say mad weird shit, like stuff that you would never normally say.
You made me my dad.
I bet he gets that all the time though, Lemmy. Like, maybe a lot of people that watch his stream it as like a sort of, you know, like sort of father's figure.
People
role that
feel like
he's-
they really know him because they
Yeah.
watch him day in day out.
I've read his books and watched like 100 hours of his Twitch, you know.
It is weird, isn't it, when you like have read somebody's book, you know about their life and that, and then you meet them in person, all you can kind of say is like, big fan or something like that, because
Aye.
anything else
You know
is just
too much, it's weird.
Yeah.
Aye.
Especially when it's like his books talking about like his first wanks and stuff, and like when he thought he was gay and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's like pure personal stuff, and you just want to go up to him and go, I used to jack off like that as well. But
You also used to think you were gay.
I was, yeah, no, that was the one big thing in it. I was like, oh, I'd love to meet him and tell him I had the same thing.
So what happened again with this? Because I remember you used to talk about this on
I
stage.
used to do a bit about it. Basically, there was the first time I tried to have sex, or like I was about to have sex, I couldn't get hard, and then we just went, let's just leave it. And then in my head, I was like, I couldn't get hard for a lassie, I must be gay. But I didn't actually fancy any guys. I just couldn't get hard once. But then I started telling all my pals, like, oh, I'm gay, I'm gay. And they were like,
Such a premature coming out.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I would like, they would start crying at
Did
like,
you not
house
just
parties
think
and stuff,
maybe
like,
it was
"This is
just,
so
you know,
deep."
the pressure or whatever? Like, why did you instantly go to that?
I just liked a lot of songs by gay people. You know, I like the Smiths and he's gay, and I liked like a lot of like artists where they were gay, and I was like, maybe I'm gay, man, you know. But then I had sex with women, and I was like, this is class.
How did you finally get it up, Chris?
You put the Smiths on in the background.
It's not exactly.
What a mad
Michael
question.
Parkinson was never doing that.
So how did you finally get your pinger going? Yeah,
Got any techniques
You
to
don't
share?
have to answer that. I just
it's
meant
just classic Scorpio behaviour, though. Do you know what I mean? Just bringing up shit.
Dylan
Like that.
Moran came up to
I
him and
just-
gave him a few tips.
He's secretive about his own life, but he's very interested in your dick.
Yeah.
all I meant was, you know, that was obviously your first time and you couldn't, and then the next time, bam.
There was just so much pressure because I knew like in advance for like days. It was like her
Yeah.
mom and dad's going out of town,
Yeah,
show up,
leading up to the event.
and then wild.
Mm.
And then
high pressure.
basically, I said to Lassie, I was like, "Listen, I'm not gay anymore." And she was like, "All right."
She would have been like, I know you've.
Was it the same
Shag
girl?
her.
That I eventually broke my virginity with you.
Really?
Yeah.
She must have been a bit offended when basically she was the reason why you convinced yourself that you were gay.
Yeah, she was.
But were you going out with her, or was this just a person?
I can't mind.
Because it would have
Just
been
a person? What?
it would have been tough if it was like you that was a relationship and you're going about telling people you're gay, but you're still in a relationship with this.
I don't know.
That's
It was
good.
kind of
That's got, yeah,
complicated. She was
bit of
trying to get
tension.
back at somebody the first time, but
So
then
what age were you when this was all happening?
18, 19?
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on with Morrissey, by the way? Because you're saying like he's gay, but he's not actually.
He's
is
gay.
he? I don't know if he's out as a gay man, is he?
Have you read his book?
No, the fucking Daft Penguin classic thing.
Yeah, you got it
Oh.
released as a
Because
penguin
I thought the whole
classic.
thing about there was a lot of a mystery around that, right? And it was
Yeah,
kinda
that
like-
was in the 80s, but now he's
Right,
like
okay.
60 and he's like,
Right, okay.
yeah, lads, remember all these songs about kissing boys? I meant it.
It wasn't a little C&B rug pull. I was,
But yeah, no, it's
It'd be great. Morrissey came out and he's like, "Turns out I just couldn't get it up. I'm not gay at all."
that poor lass has been waiting 60 years.
yeah, man. No, I'm pretty sure if you read between the lines, all the songs about kissing boys, you're like, yeah, okay. But then he had some songs about girls as well, but they were all like, some girls are bigger than others.
Yeah.
And he
Lots
wasn't
of
really-
weird songs when you think about it.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Yeah, great guy. I love his politics, man. You know.
That
How-
picture of him with the fuck the Guardian fucking
Yeah,
vest
man.
on.
He lives.
Do you still listen to the Smiths now? Even though Morrissey's like a big sort of right wing guy.
Not really. He's kind of ruined it for me. Where I was, I hate Chinese people stuff, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
pro Brexit shit. It's kind of fucking like. But I done a bit about it, and I was like, it's kind of like how you feel about like your granda. You know what I mean? Like nobody's granda has the best politics, but you just love him because he
No.
was class when you were wee.
And also, most people's grandas didn't write such fucking beautiful songs.
I've never heard any songs my granddad wrote. I'm not having a go at my granda, but at least one would be nice.
Did
One-
I ever sing about the house? My grandpa used to sing all the time.
What
Right.
kind of
What was
songs?
the song?
it
Do you remember that Smith song?
was good, but he had a good wee
Keep,
tone to
keep,
his
keep
voice.
going. What was this?
He'd be like making me French toast and be going "Na, na, 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 na." Just doing that wee
That
bit.
sounds like a vocal exercise to get ready to sing a song.
Doing wee bits, and then he'd go.
So just sort of, it was like hum.
No words.
He'd hum rather than
and
sing.
he'd go na 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 na. He'd do like wee scales and stuff.
Did he ever?
Just
How
cutting
can he
French
fucking
toast.
keep a lid on this, man?
Great, great voice. Great voice.
I'm expecting you to tell us about actual songs. Yeah.
He didn't
He's
say
just
words.
warming up forever.
He would never say words. Fuck's sake, that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
He would just kind of hum and stuff.
Men of his generation, that would have been looked down upon.
He's a traditional man.
But he had a lot of wee sayings, and I thought, oh, he's quite smart. But it turns out they're just loads of cliches
Like what?
and stuff. Like, if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. I thought he invented that for years.
See, the first time I heard, I remember going into my dad's work. There was a guy there working there called Paul, who taught me how to play guitar. But one time I went in, and he went, and I just said, oh, I just assumed. And he went, oh, when you assume, you make an ass of you and me. And I thought he made that up, and I was like,
Mind
that's
blown.
the fucking coolest
Paul.
thing I've ever heard in my life.
You
That's
should be
so
teaching
funny.
English, no guitar, son.
I know, man. I should be teaching poetry. Because the word assume, that's how you spell it.
Yeah.
It's very
When
clever.
you assume,
clever.
you make an ass of you. And even though in the word it goes may, it looks like me.
But the thing is, that someone did invent that.
It was like it's like
How
with
cool, I
had
never
saw a
compare
penny
and
for
stuff.
it
It's
either,
like,
did
oh, don't
Do you
worry.
know?
It's like when compares go, oh, don't worry, it's just a stage you're walking through. And I remember when I had my first pint, somebody did say that
For
first.
the first time. My grandpa also had another wee thing, and I've not heard of this actually, so maybe he did invent this. But it's not one of his classics. But it was I've been Falkirk, Selkirk, and Dunkirk, and I've never fought, and I've never been defeated. And I used to, I go.
What did he mean by
didn't-
that?
I don't know, and I still don't know. But
What
I
was he
liked
doing
it.
in Dunkirk if he wasn't fighting?
I don't know. I think it's just because it had Kirk at the end. Just Selkirk, Falkirk, Dunkirk.
Did they fight in the war?
Also, it's a good rule of three.
It's just a
'cause
rule of
Selkirk-
three gag, isn't it?
Fun, yeah, Dunkirk is the last
Then you don't
one.
expect Dunkirk.
You don't expect Dunkirk because
That's
that's
the twist.
France.
Yeah.
And I've never fought and I've never been defeated.
What was the context? But
It would just say to me.
Sounds
I would
quite
just
threatening, actually. What were you saying to
I'm going to
I've
defeat
never-
you.
La 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 la.
So
I
basically,
don't know
your
what I mean.
granddad, he either sang songs with no lyrics or he spoke entirely in cliches.
But that's not really a cliche, is it? Because I've never
Or
heard
just
of that.
confusing
Confusing
things.
me things.
I'm not done with these songs yet, by the way. See the tunes that was he making up those tunes or were they old
Well, now
tunes?
that now I'm questioning it because now that I know
He's a
the other
fucking
things
fraud,
are
this guy.
cliches.
That's the thing, though, like, see if you're like, even like a music teacher or something, or like kind of young kids, like you must be able to like see all this stuff that is cliches for, in like to them they're hearing it for
The
the first
first
time,
time.
ask out you and me and all that, and they go, "Oh, he's so cool. He's got these phrases and that," and it's actually just the most easy like stock lines ever.
Yeah. Like when like a wee old woman go, I'm not 50 years old, I'm 50 years young. And then I remember hearing that for the first time. They go up going, she's got good patter.
Yeah.
She's got great patter, old fucking.
What's
Yeah.
the
If she
oldest?
was 30 years younger.
What's the oldest age you would
Shag
if you heard patter like that?
something?
Where you would be like, yeah, man.
What do you mean, like 50 years young?
Like obviously she's got a beautiful mind, so
So what's the question? What age would I have to be to go out with this old
no.
woman?
What age is the oldest age that you would go out with, Lassie?
What
Chris,
age am
what are
I?
you trying to do to this podcast, man?
What age
You
am
can
I?
really
You
just
come here
relax
with an
and
ulterior
guess. I'll ask the questions.
None of this
later.
on Enjoy an Album.
No, I'll answer it. What age am I? 30? 30 years old?
So
now?
what's the oldest age where you're working in a supermarket and you hear a bit of class patter like that?
And
What
I'm
is the
going-
age where you
I'm
get?
going to pump her in the stockroom.
Yes.
Because she said I'm 50 years young. What a fucking reason.
It's like when you put it like that, actually, it doesn't seem
Actually.
old at all.
Yeah, she is on the same wavelength as me.
So if she said, "I'm not 72 years old, I'm 72 years young," would you?
That's too old.
Aye.
I'd say 60.
Okay.
Depends though, because you get a lot
You
of
would
good...
have sex with a 60-year-old woman?
Well, what kind of 60-year-old women we talking about here? Because you get celebrities nowadays that look class,
Who?
who are old. That old one, what's she called?
The Queen.
Dolly Parton, she looks good.
Dame Helen Mirren.
Aye. Dame Edna
Gillian
Everett.
Anderson must be about that.
Gillian
Oh, wow.
Anderson. You know, you
She's-
get hot older ladies.
She's beautiful.
Lovely.
If she worked in the co-op,
My girlfriend went. Do you know how everybody went mental during lockdown? My girlfriend became obsessed with Gillian Anderson and bought from CEX every film she's ever been in, including some of the worst films anybody's ever been in.
I couldn't name you one of her films. She was fucking
Thatcher.
Maggie, wasn't
She's
she?
on
Yeah,
Thatcher,
she was
aye.
Thatcher.
She was Thatcher. What? She was in X-Files.
Yeah, that was like her main thing. She was the woman, the wee ginger woman in X-Files.
What, Scully?
Yeah.
I like that you were going to say Mulder, you're like, I'm just,
What one is it?
What one's which? I don't know
It's
either.
one of
Well,
them.
How did you go mental during lockdown, Chris?
Pissed myself.
Was there no sinks about, no?
No, I was doing a Fringe preview. Fuck's sake. I was doing a Fringe preview and I just decided to tell them something I've never told it. See if I'm doing a gig and the new stuff isn't working, I'll do a wee bit of old stuff. See if the old stuff's not working.
Tell them something about your soul.
I'll just tell them something I've never told a single soul. Just to try and
What if that fails as well?
Feel
What's next?
something.
Tell them you're going to kill them all.
Try my bit, yeah. Threaten
Go to
them.
Amsterdam for one last.
Ask them how old. Ask them how old the oldest woman in the shack is. And then
Just
tell
have an
them,
emergency question, you know?
What's the oldest woman you would check?
just a bit, just a
I
bit
think
of
Richard
crowd work.
Herring does that in his podcast.
So I just decided I was doing it on Tuesday and I was kind of struggling. About 25 minutes in, I got to the bit of my show where I talk about going mental and lockdown, and I was just like, I'm going to just tell them something I've never told anybody. Like even Sam, or even like my therapist or something, just tell them something. And I told them during lockdown, I was smoking out the back behind my flat. And it was raining, right? And
Tense here.
there was a stank, like a drain.
Mm.
I said stank, and then I went user for like putney.
Yeah, you
You've
don't know
never
what
heard
that
the word
is.
stank.
I didn't realise
What
it was a
would,
Scottish
what
thing.
would you say instead of stank?
Drain.
Right, aye, okay.
I was like, it was a stank, and they were like, what? And I was like a drain. They were like, huh? And out the drain, right?
And at this point, you're killing it getting in the gig.
Yeah.
I've been like stinking out.
The
It's
Scottish
stank.
versus English phrases bit, 5 minutes on that easily, and then back
your
into the story.
material.
I know.
That's what I do if I'm struggling. I start doing Marc stuff.
So I was out smoking, and I hadn't like spoke to anybody in like 3 weeks, and I'd seen this drain, and like an eye on the end of like a stalk came out of the drain, like like that, and like blinked at me.
It was like it's fucking Pennywise sort of shit.
Yeah. And then a couple of nights later, I was out the front of my flat, right? And there was a drain, right? And it was raining. I was smoking a fag, and I heard screaming come out of the drain. I just told them that. And honestly, pure flicks the gig. They were like, "Is we
I was
guys
expecting you to
mental?"
piss yourself during this.
Huh?
I was expecting you to piss
I
yourself
know what
during
you
that story.
think. I pissed myself, and then I started hallucinating goblins and monsters.
You're like David Bowie.
So this was a hallucination. I need to stress.
I don't think there are aliens that live in drains or
But that
like
could
screaming
be.
monsters and shit, you know. So
So was this is during lockdown and you're just going fucking mental basically?
this isn't a usual occurrence for me.
Right.
Not your first guest on your Lads Chat podcast is some guy who like hallucinates monsters on a day-to-day basis.
It's starting to sound like a fucking horror fucking podcast or something. And then I seen an eye come out, and it was staring
I
at me.
honestly, I
Steve
went
is loving
towards
it.
it.
I love it,
Horror
man.
guy.
I
I'm
went
loving it.
towards it, and it went up a wee bit, and I went, no. I went back inside.
So how many? It's 2 times.
This is 2 times
occurrences?
I've experienced
that's it?
drain monsters in Partick.
How class would it be if they were real though?
I mean, the fucking, you know.
You ever seen a monster, Mark?
What's the oldest
What's
monster
the
you've
oldest
fucked?
68 years old.
400 years old monster? Shag. No, I can't ever say I would see a
Monster or a ghost or anything like
Well,
that.
the thing is, I do have a distinct memory of seeing what I thought was a ghost, but the thing is, I was just waking up, so it's obviously, I think
That's
your
when they get
brain
you.
does play tricks on you, because I remember waking up and it was like,
Sleep paralysis. Was
a
it?
lot. No, it was like I seen the light turn on or something, or the light turn off, and in my head, I seen like someone come in and switch it on. But I think what happened is it turned on, and then it's almost like, you know, my mind's retconned it,
Yeah.
and I've actually just sort of put that together. Or maybe it was just like, you know, somebody came in and turned the light on for me. But I remember thinking, I seen a ghost. What about, have you seen a ghost?
Goblin. Not
Of
goblin.
course he has.
What do you mean a goblin?
Not goblin. Strain.
I mean,
That wasn't a
obviously
ghost.
seen a monster in a drain.
Sorry.
Seen a monster in a drain.
Sorry,
That's, you know, 10 a penny. But you've seen a ghost.
I'm just thinking of listeners here that I had to listen to us call horoscopes a lot of shite, and every time we've seen fucking ghosts and monsters.
I seen a monster in a drain when I was in lockdown. I've seen
loads
loads
of women
of-
go on a date with guys, and he's straight away he's like, by the way, monsters are real. We're like, aye, sure they are. Right, come back to mine. Hurry
Why
up.
should I call it a monster? I think monster makes it sound daft.
So what would you
I agree.
so what would you call it?
Goblin.
Creature.
Creature.
A
I
swamp
think it was an
creature?
alien. Maybe it's, how often do you see an eye on a stalk? That's like a classic Tremalfador for the Kurt Vonnegut books. You know what I mean?
So when you were answering the question, when you were answering the question, how did you go mental during
don't know what it
lockdown? You've not recovered from that yet. Basically, is what you're saying.
Well, that's why I'm scared to telling people because they'll let me come daft because I seen a monster coming out a drain.
Well, if you have experienced monsters and drains, you can get in touch.
Have
with
you
us.
ever seen a goblin or a ghost or an alien or anything?
Well, sleep
No.
paralysis. I've had that. That's fine. I've had sleep paralysis where you hallucinate and shit.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
had
what
that
did
as well.
you see? Oh, so you have seen one?
Hey.
Oh,
The
Mr. Cool
fucking
Guy,
dream.
come
I've had a
on.
dream, bro.
What?
Kid.
It's not
What's
a
that
dream.
one? What's the famous one? The old woman. What's she called?
The oldest woman you check.
Yeah,
Gillian Anderson.
Kathy for the cop. She's a hero.
I'm 50 years young.
No, I get a lot of recurring ones. Huge spiders.
With faces?
Yeah,
Human faces?
I don't know if they're human quite, but like
Humanoid.
human, maybe creature like, not spider like,
No.
but kind of fucked.
With a nose.
Yeah,
You
they've
scared
got
of
a nose.
spiders, bro?
Well, I don't particularly like them, but I wouldn't say I've got a fear really. But
What's your biggest fear
when there's
other
a fucking
than
humongous one coming towards you and you can't move, it's pretty scary, mate.
Yeah.
other than beans and spiders? What's your biggest fear?
I've got quite a lot, man. Don't like wee, the holes. I think it's called trypophobia, something like that.
Well, like a cheese grater.
I don't. I don't really mind those, but it's loads of wee holes in the.
Like a sieve.
Yeah.
No.
I can
I don't get this at all.
I can do pasta.
Like I'm trying to think of an example. Like a zoomed
usually
up
pictures.
picture. A zoomed up picture of like skin has a lot of pores in it, and it
yeah.
freaks we guys like this out.
Do you know? Do you
That
you find
Scorpio
that?
thing.
I love holes, man.
Seedy bastard. I wouldn't say it's a fear, but it does kind of creep me out a wee bit.
Tryptophobia. You getting some pictures up, Mark? Of this
Try to look it up here.
fear of holes. Classic Scorpio behaviour, by the way.
That's the
Fear of
fucking
holes is what
episode
you had
title.
when you were younger, man.
Hey.
Wasn't it all holes I was scared of? Zoom in on that guy's chest where the holes, man.
Aye, what's that thing on the right? Because I don't like that.
Oh, that's
Whatever that is.
Oh, good.
weird.
Is that a hand? What is that?
It's a guy's hand.
It looks like a torso, doesn't it? But is
Jesus
that?
Christ.
Yeah, I mean, I
Look
don't
at
like
weird,
that.
that. Look at that.
It's quite creepy.
You struggle to
Freddy
get that.
Krueger.
You struggle to get it up if fucking somebody went.
They try to give you a wank with a handful of holes, man. You're like, Jesus Christ.
That's
Honeycomb, the wee honeycomb, a wee beehive. Do you get scared of beehives when you see loads of wee holes in a beehive?
I wouldn't go up to one personally.
Yeah.
How is this manifested itself? Have you ever had really any interactions with like wee
No,
things with holes in that? No.
no. When have you ever seen that? Fuck's sake! It's just. You just
How do you know you're scared of it then?
images just like that? It just kind of creeps you out. I'm not scared of it. Just weird, isn't it?
Yes, anyway, we'll keep up there.
Put it down.
Put it away.
Yeah,
I was going to
Put it down.
just put it in.
ask you, Chris, because you were mentioning about working earlier on. So you used to work for your dad and your dad's hairdressers,
Yeah, man.
and you had a famous customer one time. Is that right?
I used to wash people's hair. I've actually had a few famous customers. Ever heard of Gary Tank Man there?
Oh yeah, Greg.
Greg
Shout out.
McHugh, friend of the pod.
Yep.
He's
That'll
class.
be news to him.
He's
Yeah,
great.
he's class.
He's a nice guy.
He remembered me when I went on doing comedy. He remembered me, and then I washed Marty Pello. I nearly washed Marty Pello's hair once.
Really?
Nearly
Claybank
washed.
legend.
Aye.
Claybank.
From round the corner.
Trying so hard not to do a wet,
Probably.
wet, wet joke.
Yes, I'll tell you what, we got wet. The bloody
Yeah.
hair.
Hair, the scalp.
Yeah.
Wet, 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 Luke gel.
That's good, actually.
Did he seem like he was on drugs at the time?
He had a bodyguard. That was a cool thing about him.
He had a bodyguard.
Yeah, the bodyguard came in with my dad and went, "You're gonna cut Mark Pello's hair," and my dad was like, "Yeah, okay." And he went back in 2 minutes. Came back. Mark Pello sat down in the chair. I was about to shampoo himself when one of the ladies who I worked with, who like loved him, was like, "Don't you fucking do it. I need to do this. I need to touch his hair," because it is quite a fucking
Quite a main.
quite a what?
Quite a main. Has it got quite
Well, not that. I just mean when you wash someone's hair, it's like
intimate?
extremely intimate. Got a bit about it. About touching old ladies' hair.
Make them come through their scalp.
What's the
It's a great
oldest
line.
lady you'd make come through a scalp?
No limit. Don't care how old you are, man.
Do you want-
Oldest lady in the world.
Do you want to explain that reference? The come through the scalp thing?
Nah.
Just let it sit.
You know, a long time.
It's a great joke.
It's in the
Long
bit.
time CIB heads will love it.
Hmm.
No, 4 of them. So, yeah, just, it's really, have you ever washed anybody's hair, Mark?
Not to my knowledge or memory.
No, it's
I can
pretty
imagine
special.
it'd be quite intimate
because some guys get really creeped out when you do it. They're like,
to them.
yeah, they're like, don't do that. You know? And I'm like, I'm doing it, bro.
I would enjoy
It's
it.
lovely.
I do remember the first time I was ever in a barber's and they had to cut my hair, I had to wash my hair. It was like, I remember I just didn't put gel in it and stuff like that, but I felt very vulnerable in that situation. And then the only other time it happened was I basically got my hair all dyed. I used to get tips blonde, but then one time I just got it all peroxide and it just all looked terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was like right into the root. And so I basically had to go and get my hair dyed brown again. And I just remember going and it was like, they had to wash it off through and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, I felt so embarrassed. And there was somebody I knew that was in the hairdresser. It was like a woman's hairdresser I had to go to get it done. and someone knew I was in, I was like, oh, it was just dead embarrassing.
It's very. That was one of the first times my brain like clicked on. Like, I must have been like 11 or 12, and I was getting my hair done in my dad's salon, and he had this like 20-year-old woman wash my hair, and I was just like, oh, you know, I was like clicked on. We hard-ons, you know, just like boner mode activated. Like I am capable of sexual thought.
This is the rest of my life
If
now.
only she was there the first time you're trying to have sex.
That's what I was thinking. How did I not think about that when I was like, oh, I'm gay? Like, it's kind of hard on a woman just touched my scalp, and now I'm like, oh, I don't like women. Like, I did.
What about when you're doing it though? Is it the same
See, when you're a
effect?
professional, it just like it's like a masseuse or something. It's like it's no sexuality to it. It's just like
Yeah.
this is my craft.
Yeah.
Or like when you
Yeah.
do stand ups, like I don't find this funny, but it's cool if you find it funny.
Mm.
It would be a bit weird to be in bed with someone and ask them to wash your hair.
I've done it. So when you got these skills, again, it's not sexual for me, but I'm willing to make it sexual for the right person.
Mm.
Is that sounds like it's like an out call for the listeners.
Anybody wants a hair washed,
If
I'm
you want to sign up to
really-
CMB's Patreon for £3 a month, you can get your hair washed. What you got coming up prior to August for the Fringe?
prior to August,
Mhm.
absolutely nothing, man. Just come and see me. No, come see me. The Fringe is a good show about. It used to be about
Pasta.
wanting to talk myself, but now it's about pasta.
Well, we all need a reasons to live, I suppose.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Mo-
to think you went to Amsterdam, just had a big bowl of pasta, and thought, you know what, I'm going home.
Yeah, they wouldn't give me any hash because they thought I'd green out or something.
Free dinners in Chinatown, really swung you around.
I do think
Yeah,
life's
that's
shite,
class.
but some things make it worth living, and food's one of them.
Mm.
That's good to hear, mate.
Amen.
I'm glad you found something. I mean, I like to. It's nice to spend time with you as well. Hopefully, we can brighten your spirits a wee bit, mate. No.
Never worked so far, but thanks
Are
for
you-
having me on.
Are you down south a lot between now and?
Got to Newcastle this weekend, then I'm in South London, and then I'm in Cardiff and Manchester, and all weekends away basically before August. And
You do more travelling than any other Scottish comic I know. I would say. How do you find it?
it's lonely.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need to eat 3 dinners in Chinatown
Comfort eating.
just to hang out with kids. Because I had dinner with 3 different people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
3 different groups of people. So basically, you just need to. That's why I just eat. I'm not like a fat wreck who like hates himself. That's not why I'm eating.
No, you're just a wreck who hates himself.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be fat.
Quite skinny.
But it's dead lonely, and sometimes the gigs fucking suck, and then that's why I made an effort to stay in nicer places as well, because what I was doing was I would go to a shite place, do a shite gig, go back to a shite hotel and go, I hate being alive. But if you go to a shite place, do a shite gig, and then you're like, do you know, this hotel was actually quite nice. You know, you can cling on to the facade of being a human.
Yeah. No, well that's.
Then sometimes if the hotel's too expensive, you don't make any money from the gigs.
I'm not a money orientated person.
Yeah.
I'm an experience orientated person, and that's why I don't own a house.
Yeah.
So you're practicing self care a lot more these days. Basically.
Yes, I think the most underrated form of self care is getting a taxi. See, when you're at the Fringe and people talk about self care, like, oh, go to the meadows and meditate. No. See, if you get a gig that's a 20-minute walk, have a 5-minute taxi. Just sit down. Don't get into a debate with racism with a leaf fucking taxi driver. Just fucking chill out. Show up at the gig. Go on. You're happy. Fantastic. Support the taxi industry.
Some people like wee nice walks to clear their head as well, though. A wee 20
Do you think
minute
you can
walk.
have a nice walk down the Royal Mile during the Fringe without? I was hungover on the Royal Mile and I just
Isn't it more
screamed at
frustrating
cunts
being
once.
stuck in a fucking taxi, stopping every 2 seconds?
Because I don't drive the
Trying
taxi,
to listen
Mark.
to
I
this
don't
guy
drive the
being
taxi.
racist and all that shit.
No. So relaxing.
So your
Well,
plugs
you
are
know.
the Fringe and just taxis.
Just
in
taxis
general.
in general.
general.
Check out some taxis. Sorry for getting upset about taxis. It's a family
It's
business.
the first pro taxi take we've had on because
Yeah.
we've been pretty.
You don't
Oh,
get
it's
a
a
lot
hot
of pro
take on this
taxis.
You
Take-
don't. You
takes.
don't. But they deserve a wee after the years they've had.
Well, it's something that you need all the time. You go out on a night out, you need a taxi, don't you?
Yeah.
So
But you travel a lot
Good
as
point.
well. It's a nice life.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a wee bit more kind to myself and know. I keep saying aye to gigs, and then like I was basically what I do is I think when I get asked to do a gig a couple weeks or months down the line, I think, oh, by then I'll have written new stuff that I want to try out, so I'll go and do that gig, in Dundee for 50 quid, and then it gets to it, I'm like, why am I putting myself through this? Like, that's what happened last week. And it was a nice gig and all that, but it was like, I'd just done that solo show at the Stand. It was a great night and all that. And then the next night I had to go up there and I had nothing to try because I'd just done a work in progress show the night before. And I was just a bit like, I need to stop agreeing to things that...
But Dundee is like not far away.
Dundee's not even that far, but it was
like...
just, I could have done with the drive and all that. And it was fine, but it just...
Sometimes you could be at home writing jokes as well instead of
basically
exactly. not doing any new stuff 80 miles away or something.
I know. But, so I just try to get the balance, but it is difficult when, you're like because it is weird, like, I always think about, like, I always beat myself up about not writing enough with stand-up, but then, like, if you're a novelist, you're not having to go to fucking Nottingham to try out your new fucking chapter, do you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
whereas we need, that's, the performance is part of it, and it takes up a lot of the time, and that's why you're doing both, but... I
got some good career advice once from someone who was saying, like, when it comes to accepting gigs and stuff like that, you should always ask yourself, if this gig was tomorrow, would I still want to do it? Because it's easy to say, 8 months, fuck that, I'll be a different man by then, my life will be different, but
absolutely.
Do you want to go to Nottingham for 100 quid tomorrow?
Yeah.
And if you don't, then say no.
But then the problem with that is I'd probably say no to all gigs.
Exactly, and we'd be back at the co-op.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye, no, 100%. But then that's the thing as well, like, the opposite of that is, like, sometimes you get asked to do a gig that's, like, pure ages away, and the thing is, like, do I want to be doing this kind of gig in almost a year's time? Like, hopefully by then I won't.
Should be above this, hopefully, but I'm not now.
But
yes, but I'm just in love with the craft and the graft and the hook upon which we all hang.
Well, we hope that's a metaphor, Chris, and not where we'll find you after this fucking thing gets released. But
that was a wee phrase that my grandpa told me. He's a smart guy.
I'm in love with frying up bread and humming songs that don't mean a fucking thing.
That wee start bit actually sounds like la na 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 la na na na. La na 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 na. Take a look at my girl. My grandpa was in the.
Take a look at my girlfriend.
What they
She's
called?
the
Super
only
Trump,
one I
is it?
got.
No, what they called?
La da da da. What, the Neptunes?
My girlfriend.
Oh.
Who's the remix?
Is it not like Gym Class Heroes or something like that?
Gym Class Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
My
Once I seen
grandpa
the
was in Gym
Neptunes, but
Class
it's Gym Class
Heroes.
Heroes. Completely different type of music. Cut that out.
anyway, Chris.
That's the most embarrassing thing you've done this podcast is say a wrong band.
And
all
if
the
you
shit
want
that does need to be cut out. I mean, that fucking walks into this episode.
100%. Because it's a good segue into the fact that Chris, you'll get more good music info from Chris on his podcast Enjoy an Album.
Yes.
With yourself and Liam Withnail, friend of the pod, who basically are running down the 500 greatest albums of all time according to Rolling Stone.
Rolling Stone magazine.
So basically, what I
Does
found
it-
mad because Steve told me when you started this, what I found mad is he says, right, we're going to do 500 top albums all time. I'm going to do one a week. And I was like, that's going to take you 10 years.
It's a 10-year project.
And does Rolling Stones not update that?
Yeah,
list?
like usually like every 4 years.
By the time you are finished it, there'll have been another 10 years of music.
And there'll be another 3 lists.
I'm hoping to get on it with Liam after your lifestyle starts to take a toll. 6 or 7 years in, I'll catch all the good albums at the end.
Every now and again, you'll hear a wee noise like, that's probably Christopher's ghost. He's saying, tattoo woohoo, tattoo bahoo.
I did think the other day, I was like, God, that'd be... You know, you always need to come up with like things. When I was a wee guy and I was sad, I'd go, well, you can't, have anything bad happen to you because you need to go see Megadeth in a couple of months at the Barrowlands, And now I go, what would happen to the podcast, Liam would have to replace me with this cunt.
That's good. Well, I've got to say, like, yours is genuinely one of my favourite podcasts. So definitely check it out. Enjoy an album. It's fucking class.
It's a fun podcast. I like doing it. But, I can see why people wouldn't listen to it.
I think like a lot of people they'll start with because you're looking at the albums, they'll start with an album they've heard of and an artist they like, and then get into that. Maybe that's how I got into your film podcast as well. I'd listen to the ones about films I'd seen, and then once you get in and enjoy the banter with the lads, then all of a sudden you're hooked. I look forward to it every week, so it's a great fun, and Chris is a great comic as well, so go and check him out.
And we're very consistent.
He's
Every
very
week.
consistent
Every
every week.
Tuesday.
and he's
Not like
only-
some people who take months off, and I'm sitting washing my dishes at 3 in the morning, and there's no been a new one. No offense to the boys, busy careers, busy boys.
You wash
Busy
dishes at
boys.
3 in the morning.
That's when I wash my dishes at 3 in the morning. Because
You're surprised by that. That tallies so perfectly.
I'm actually more surprised he washes dishes. Whatsoever.
I love it, man. Very zen experience to
Do
wash
you just
the
move
dishes.
the dishes and pish in the sink?
just-
No, he washes them with his fish.
I lift the plate up into the sink, and it's pea, and it's like lasagna, pure hardened lasagna, and I'm like pishing harder, but it's hard, man.
Well, just when we thought we couldn't lower the tone anymore, Chris, you've come in today and really set a new bar. So
I like it. This is the level that I want this to continue at,
yeah,
man.
absolutely.
We usually end with a wee philosophical quandary, but I don't know.
Keep
What
it
would you
not
do
today.
if you were immortal?
There's a great Van der Graaf generator song about being immortal called Still Life, and it's this guy, and he's like, ultimately laboured more and wonderful than eternal life. It's all about how being eternal would
So is
be.
that mixing a Morrissey and your
My
grandma?
It's all about. Thing is, if you were immortal, you could shag people who were like as old as you want, because you're like 3,000, so it's like
Not as old as you want. Like you
as old
you
as you want.
still have a limit of.
Yeah, there's still
And
be the old
above.
calculation. It's like half your age plus 10 or whatever. It's like half your age plus 200, you know, whatever.
Like there's
Um,
still like a limit. Below 18 is still creepy. Do you
It's
know
a
what
great, song. I think people should sample it, man. If I was going to be a rap producer, I'd sample it because it's a good bit with it.
Do you know what the question is?
Aye.
The answer is you'd have 10 Chineses a day.
Thanks very much for tuning in this week, guys. As we've been discussing, all 4 of us are at the Edinburgh Festival this year in August. If you'd like to come and check us out, tickets will be in the description for myself, Stu, Steve, and of course Christopher, our guest today.
Yes.
You can.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers.
Thanks very much for being on, mate. And as ever, you can like and subscribe on YouTube, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else lets you leave one. And you can follow us at SummaRisePod on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And thanks a lot for tuning in. We will speak to you soon.
Bye.